Secure the Bag content is intended for collegiate athletes. Secure the Bag does not provide financial services, financial planning, investment, tax, legal, or sports agent advice or services. All right, welcome to another episode of the STB podcast, and we got a familiar face on today. We got my guy, first round pick of the Chicago Bears, Rome Odunze, who's kind enough to join us. What's up, Rome? How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man. It's awesome to have you back. We had you about a year ago before your last year in Washington, and you kind of put everyone on notice that what was going to happen, and you did it. I actually listened to it back recently, and you said last year you were like going into the year, you wanted bigger and better things, and people kind of were doubting you guys the year before, and even though the expectations were higher, you thought that you guys could go even higher, and you did. I mean, an amazing season, undefeated season, All-American season. Tell me first, before looking ahead, what was that experience like this past year?
It was incredible, honestly. Like, just everybody coming back and, the build up to it, everybody was in that locker room the years prior and, all the pieces that we added and everybody kind of coming back for that last season to give it one last go was amazing because I don't think it usually happens like that, especially in college football. So to see that happen, to experience that with my guys, like it's a once in a lifetime sort of season and once in a lifetime bonds that I've had with my teammates through that season. So I'm tremendously grateful for it for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean with the Pac-12, the last year of the Pac-12 and I was fortunate enough to pick the right game to be at because I came on the sideline against when you guys played Oregon, and that was one of the most electric atmospheres. For people who don't know, we talk about the South, college football. That stadium in Seattle was rocking as good as any stadium I've ever been in at any game, and I've been to some games, and you put on a show, man. Just that game, I mean, it was unbelievable. You had the game-winning touchdown. What was that game and that atmosphere like? I mean, to me, it encapsulates the year you had, and it was like that game was just incredible.
For sure. No, 100%. Yeah, you definitely picked a good one to go to. That one was definitely one for the books for sure. I mean, I feel like when you think about that game, like that's the epitome of like the college football experience, honestly, as a fan, as a player, everybody in that stadium, of course, when you're on the winning team, of course. But for us, I think it was awesome, like to be able to, play against our rivals in a top 10 matchup. You get college game day, like all the hype, everything surrounding it. And then, to go out there and perform well and the team performs well as a whole, man, it's like an unbelievable feeling. And I usually don't go back and watch my games really like that. But I recently went and watched that one. I was like, man, yeah, that was one of the ones for sure that you'll never forget. That I was watching it on YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah, that was legendary. I remember just watching you as fiery as you were. And I mean, we know legendary Penix was freestyling on the sideline. That was the atmosphere. So again, congrats on an incredible season. Now, we talked about this transition that you're in now. So we, as the season unfolded, it was clear you were going to probably be a first round pick. And that happened. Tell me about, you were one of the few chosen to actually be there in Detroit on draft night. Tell me about that draft experience and how that feeling of having your family and being there and hearing your name called and getting to walk across that stage.
It was a good time. It was a good time, being able to go across the red carpet, see all the other athletes, have my family there, in the green room, have my family in the theater room. It was a, very, humbling experience just being able to be with all those people that, support me and, kind of poured into me. So it was something I was super grateful for. Man, what they don't tell you about is all the media and stuff you got to do, though, man. I'm like, oh, my gosh, after you get drafted, you walk off the stage and you straight to, cameras and, all these people asking you questions and stuff. I thought I was going to go back to the family and just turn up, but more work to do after you get drafted. But it was a special moment for sure.
So hopefully you got a chance to have fun with your family.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, hey, it's getting you prepared for that career in media. One of the things you said maybe after football was doing some career, some NFL like broadcast stuff like Chuck and Kenny and those guys.
Yeah,
on
no
TV.
doubt.
So getting you ready for that.
Yeah, that camera time.
To that to that point though, with the cameras, the interviews, you had, NIL and a great year that kind of put you in the spotlight. And we talked about this being a training ground. And, it does not take much to see you to open up social media and see that you are everywhere in terms of the marketing. Tell me a little bit about the marketing that you're doing, the team kind of, and how NIL maybe has prepared you for that, and how you feel about the opportunities that you're getting off the field.
Definitely, definitely. I think, it's another aspect of the game that, I'm just trying to take full advantage of in the position that I am, it's interesting in the NFL, some players are marketable, some, players are not, especially based on position. So wide receiver is one of those positions that's, highly, sought after in the marketing sort of arena of things. So definitely my NIL kind of gave me that introduction to it, UW educating me on my brand and, making sure that, I'm taking care of that so that, brands want to work with me. And I have the opportunities in those categories, but, your play is going to be the number one factor and all that. So making sure you're taking care of everything, on the field, the off the field opportunities just start to multiply. So, I knew those were going to be, an opportunity for me. So I want to make sure I had a team and, people I trust behind me to be able to navigate those, conversations for me with different brands and then come to me and say, hey, you want to do this with so and so and have those opportunities to do that. So it's just another way, to grind, that marketing stuff. It's not easy. You got to go do shoots and different things. So, it's another thing that you have to add on top of your training and all those different things. But like you said, it's another way to get the bag. So, it's a easy sacrifice when you put in terms like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. I think people think of marketing and opportunities as easy, but they're not, right? You got to be on all the time to earn, and you can earn a lot of money, but I think it is something that can be a chore at times. So tell me how you balance kind of the opportunity with being able to recharge and set boundaries and things like that with it.
Yeah, exactly that. You just have to, do a self-evaluation where you're at, mentally, where you're at physically, and making sure for myself, making sure, priority one, making sure everything with football is, correct. And when everything's correct on that stage of things, that allows you to, okay, enter these spaces of doing these marketing things, having those flights, doing those shoots and all those different things. So it's about that balance, you know what I mean? I think definitely the most important thing is keeping ball number one and what got you, those opportunities in the first place, number one. And then when you take care of that, that allows you sort of the freedom to navigate the other space.
Yeah, keep the main thing, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is that is a tough thing for people sometimes. It's like once you get to a place, you forget what got you there. So
Yeah.
saying that. So you were in Chicago, right? So tell me about Bears Nation, how they embrace you. The opportunity, I don't need to tell you, is incredible for such a passionate city fan base. You there with Caleb. Tell me about how Bears Nation has kind of embraced you and your first impressions of Chicago so far.
Oh, it's been amazing. Yeah, Bears Nation, they don't play, you know what I mean? They're passionate about their football and that's something that I love. I'm passionate about the game as well. So I'm super glad that the fan base shares that as well. And you can tell, they're starving just like us for a winning season, for a Super Bowl and for big things coming out of the organization. So, we're prepared to bring that. And I think that same sort of excitement is in the locker room, with the offensive guys, coming starting this new leaf with Caleb and the rest of the squad and all the guys that we have. So it's been awesome. I just spent a little bit of my time off in the city of Chicago, and I didn't know the summers was like that out here. They got some good summers, kind of like up there in Seattle. So the city's been very welcoming me, the people, the city as a whole. So I've been enjoying it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, I guess so far you're getting ready to start camp for real, but you've been through the rookie camp. What's the biggest adjustment that you've had to make, or the biggest difference that you've seen just thus far in going from college to the pros?
I would say, like the transition going into college from high school, like, a lot of the coaches, know that you don't really know nothing about ball, like really in depth and stuff like that. So you kind of, get your hand held a little bit more going, into college and those things as well. And then, while your time there and you're learning those things, freshmen and everything is still coming in. So the coaches still have to adhere to, teaching those guys and developing those guys. And there's definitely a development, at the NFL level for sure. I love my wide receiver coach, Chris, is coaching for me is always good, but it's definitely a little bit less handheld. You got to make sure you're on your P's and Q's with your playbook, with your route running and all those different things. So the competition level rises a little bit, and you kind of got to handle all those aspects on your own.
Awesome. So what would you say from the standpoint of, minicamp? What was your main thing that you were working on to get better at right off the bat?
My main thing was just learning the playbook, making sure, and building my condition. I felt like those were my two biggest things. I think, my skill set as a wide receiver is naturally pretty solid and be able to compete with, guys on this level. But, making sure I know that playbook, and making sure, my mental and body's not getting fatigued. So that way, I'm not lapsing when I get tired or things like that on the playbook. So those are my two biggest things, just testing the water with at the NFL level. But, first and foremost, wanted to learn that playbook and make sure I'm in tip top shape because, those things will take you a long way.
Absolutely. So walk us through a day, right? In that you would have in like rookie minicamp, right? So just so people have an idea of the dedication and kind of the work that you guys are putting in behind closed doors.
Right. Yeah, sure. We'll probably wake up around 6:30, get to the facility. And then at like 7:30, I'll probably eat breakfast. Probably or 7 to 8. You gotta fit breakfast in there, and then you gotta fit like a little bit of warm up for practice, stretching, and also any finishing touches on your playbook as well. Then at 8:30, you're gonna have the special teams meeting. You're gonna have like positional special teams, and then you're gonna do special teams as a whole, and then that'll probably be like 45 to an hour, so like 9:30, you'll then go to offensive meeting as a whole, or team meeting first, and then you'll have offensive meetings then, and then after that, you'll have positions meetings that'll probably take you to about 11, or like 10:30. So like 10:30 to 11, that's your time to really like warm up and get your mental right and your body right to really go onto the field. Then like 11:15, you'll be on the field for probably a couple hours. So you'll finish around like 1:15, and then after that, shower up. Then you get you some lunch. That'll probably take you to 2. Then you got meetings, and you want to get treatment after practice too. So that'll probably take you like 2:30. Then you got meetings, position, and offensive meetings. That'll probably take you to like 3:30, 4. And then after that, any of the finishing touches on your body, treatment wise, and getting in the training room. That'll probably take you to about 5. And then, after that is, a little bit more studying after you get home back to the hotel. So yeah, you probably going from like 6 to 6, 6 to 6:30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a full day, man. How do you keep yourself fresh, learning? I imagine sleep is extremely important. I'm actually reading an unbelievable book on sleep right now, that is kind of blowing my mind, that I can tell you about. But how do recovery, how do you stay mentally fresh, all of those things? Because it's, at this level, everyone's talented, right? And
Yeah.
it's about those separators and those things, like how do you take care of your body, et cetera? How do you do that? And I'm assuming mentally, there is some fatigue. So how do you stay fresh?
Definitely, definitely. And you gotta, have your little things to be able to relax when you get home for an hour or so. Like for me, I love video games, so I'll hop on with my homies back home and just be on the game, or watch a TV show, or watch some other sport that I like either like soccer or basketball or the Mariners that they playing. So just doing those things to have some time to relax, of course, but you mentally gonna get fatigued for sure. So you gotta have the mindset, what I mean, already set on like this is going to be hard. You know what I mean? This is a tough experience, but this is what you want. This is what you desire, and this is what you have that love, that passion for. So when you have that for something, it allows you to have a greater threshold before you're mentally kind of checked out. So when I'm at this level, man, I love football. I love playing the game. So, my mental threshold, I think it is pretty high in that standard. So that allows me to just, be ready to go regardless. But definitely, like you were saying, the sleep, man, that sleep, I can emphasize how important that is, for anybody in general, but specifically athletes as well, just for your body to get its proper, recharge and for your muscles to heal, for your mental clarity as well. That's probably number one, you know what I mean, over any physical therapy or trainer or massage or anything. That's going to be the number one.
It is. It is. I mean, I think we all know it's important. And this book I'm reading called Why Do We Sleep by Matt Walker, he's talking about how everything is like what you learn gets solidified during sleep, right? So one of the worst things people do is they stay up all night cramming for exams, and you might retain it for the exam, but you didn't learn it. And,
Right.
playbook, and I was thinking about the work with athletes in terms of retaining the information and really being in your playbook. That sleep is so vital to remembering information and healing your body. So many things.
Mm.
I think the last thing on sleep, he said, it's the one thing that there is no substitute for, right? Like we can go a long time without eating, a long time without drinking water. You go crazy in a couple of days if you haven't slept. So
Yeah,
um,
sure.
that is absolutely important. Best piece of advice you've gotten so far from either a veteran coach or just best piece of advice you've gotten so far?
Best piece of advice. I mean, one of the best pieces of advice I got was like from Trent McDuffie when I first got drafted. He was just like, "Man, make sure you in shape and make sure you good for train for rookie camp and for training camp." You know what I mean? I think when he first started coming out, I think he had like some like hamstring or some sort of injuries in his rookie training camps or in his training camps that kind of stopped him from fully going his first season, even though he went on to win the Super Bowl, was playing great. So, but that was big for me too. Like I realized that, it's such a different like phase from phase transition when you go into this process from draft to combine and all those different things. So making sure like you're still always ready to go and being able to be on the field and, as a wide receiver, being able to go run a lot for a long time. So I feel like that's one of the biggest things.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I'm gonna ask financial questions now because this is secure the
For
bag,
sure.
right? And we
For
talked
sure.
NIL. So NIL gave you kind of we talked about this last time. It was a great training ground for, to give you a head start. How did you feel you did with that? And how prepared do you feel now for the the step up in finances?
I think it helped me out a lot, honestly. NIL, it prepares you for the bigger stage that the NFL provides you. And I think, you got to handle that in the same way, just kind of, maybe on a smaller scale or with a little bit less volume to it. But going to, financials advisors like my boy Didier and having, getting their expertise, I think is crucial because you don't know what you don't know. And, there's so much information out there and so many people that are willing to help you and, give you the information to help you navigate that new sort of course with the NIL opportunities that it allows you to gain your own knowledge and start to develop your own opinions as well. So definitely, having that experience going into the NFL and, having, a wider platform and a wider volume to be able to navigate those things. It's kind of just, rinse and repeat just with a different amount, you know what I mean? So just continuing to do those things and having a plan, having a budget to make sure that, everything goes smoothly.
Hey, music to my ears, man. Music to my ears. So, how do you balance? And this is something I think a lot of guys just struggle with. How do you balance the want and the need? I'm young to have fun now versus, hey, NFL stands for not for long, right? So, as big as these checks are, they're not going to be coming forever. How do you balance those two things?
I think for me, like, I never was the type to really, want or desire to anything like too, expensive or materialistic for sure. Like my biggest thing is men taking care of my family and making sure everybody around me is doing well, not just financially, but, financially allows you a lot of different freedoms, but, mentally and, physically as well. So just, using your assets and your wealth that you amass to help those things, without everybody that you care about, I think is something to always keep in the back of your mind because everybody wants the toys and on all those different things and expensive cars and chains and all the things that you could buy, but at the end of the day, sometimes I mean sometimes all those things are materialistic and they come and they go, but the people around you is what really is important. So for me, of course, everybody wants to have a little something to whether it's a car or a chain or something nice to be able to celebrate, and that's fine, and just make sure it's within your budget, and talk to the people that advise you around your finances about it, and make sure it's a smart decision. But I would say at the beginning, at the start of it, for me, like I'm just setting my foundation right now, so I don't want to ruin anything by going getting to something so expensive that my foundation messes up. So I think just always keeping that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I love that word foundation, right? It's like you want it built on the most solid soil and in solid way.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's exactly what you're speaking to, right? There's going to be plenty of time for that. But again, it's not about, I think we go to these extremes of we got to live like, we got to drive a 30-year-old car and live with
Right,
our, parents.
right,
You can do those things. It just got to be in the framework of the budget, like you said, right?
right.
Let the budget set the boundary, right? So
Hmm.
letting the budget set the boundary about what you can do and understanding that we're wired to think about what we want today, right?
Hmm.
We are wired, hey, am I hungry right now? Do I want this right now? Do I want that? We're not wired to think about what life is going to be like in 5 years and 10 years, and it happens quickly. And that's because we had to worry about, that's prehistoric. We had to worry about predators and staying alive for tomorrow. We
Yeah,
couldn't worry. So, and we still have that hard wiring. So when the jeweler is at the combine and, all these companies prey on that primitive brain that we have with some of that
right.
stuff. So I love what you're saying about that stuff. One of the other things that we had talked about, and I see a lot of guys talk about, is it's not just the spending. It's now that you get to the money, everyone has an opinion about what you should do with your money, right?
Right.
Tell me a little bit about how you manage that, or what you've seen with that, or your thoughts on that, because that's something I see some well-meaning people in athletes' lives kind of send them down potentially the wrong path, and athletes struggle with, well, there's just so many people telling me what I should do, and they don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's always tough for sure, especially, coming from family members and different things as well. So it's always tough, trying to, find the right path because like you said, there's so many people that have opinions and swear by it and stubborn in that way. So I think the biggest thing is, just gathering information from trusted sources, and also families trusted, but like trusted sources in the realm of things that you're talking about, like trusted sources in a financial world would be a financial advisor, and you can talk to a couple of them, talk to a few of them, and I think you'll come to a general consensus of the proper way to go about things, you know what I mean, and you'll gathering that information from people that have been doing it for a long time is going to allow you to see the different ways that you can navigate it, and you'll start to come to an understanding like, okay, these guys who've been doing this for a long time, they are financial advisors for so and so and so and so, and are recommended by other people that you trust, whether it's from your agency or different things. Like you'll be able to find your own way. But the advice from the family members is like, you always assume that your family got good intentions with it, and I hope that everybody does. But at the end of the day, when money is involved, you got to go with people that understand that aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like my mom and dad got great advice from me in all aspects of life, but especially when it comes to financial things, they're always like, what is DDA saying? What was DDA talking about? What is he think? Because they know, they have their own opinions and their own way of going about it, but also, they're not experts on the situation. You know what I mean? They haven't dealt with these things before. So going to people with experience, and whether that's, one financial advisor that you have or using, or you're trying to find one, getting the opinions of multiple people in that area. So that way you can get a well-based sort of knowledge on the subject.
Yeah, that's really well said. And I think, I would add just in terms of understanding the type of person you are and what you want at the end of the day. I
Yeah,
think so many people don't think about, well, what do I want the end game to look like? And I think there's always this fear of missing out, or like, should I do this or that instead of that? And I try to, one of my philosophies with money is just, it's about a game plan. It's not about how many points can we just put on the board, right? It's about how many things can go wrong and we can still win the game, right?
right.
And am I calling plays as in like determining where to go with my money in a pace that I'm comfortable with? Am I comfortable with the risks that I'm taking and
Hmm.
all of those things? So I think you said, I think sometimes, yeah, we just think it's harder than it is, right? I think it's like, I've never had it. And it's like, playing in the Super Bowl at the end of the day, it's just football as playing in your first college game or a preseason game, right?
Right.
The importance takes on, but it's still between those lines. So it's like what you might have to tweak a few things and add a few plays and things like that as you continue to go up. But at the end of the day, it comes down to blocking and tackling, with football, and it comes down to, am I saving more than I spend? And am I
Absolutely.
putting it the right way in the right place and taking amount of risk that I'm comfortable with, right? Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's what it is. Whether you have
Yeah.
$1,000 or you have 1 million or you have 50 million,
Yeah.
same, right? Super Bowl,
Yeah.
preseason, high school, whatever. It's just football. So
Yeah, no, exactly. And especially, with financial things, because it's numbers, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit less abstract. Like, man, you could do the math on these things, you know what I mean? Like, it tells you right there, hey man, you spending 10,000 more than you earn, and then you're gonna be able to, sustain, you know what I mean? So, especially with that realm, pay attention to those things for sure.
yeah, it's like only two things can happen with money, right? It's either saved or it's spent. That's it.
Right.
Now we can talk about where to put the savings, but that if we're not saving what we need to save, the rest of the conversation is irrelevant.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you got training camp coming out. You got what, Hard Knocks, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Tell me you excited about that. And just some, you working on setting goals for rookie year. Focus on process. What's your mindset now as you get ready to start camp?
Yeah, definitely. I'm super excited. You know what I mean? It's gonna be my first training camp, headed into the season, and couldn't be more excited to, be at this level and to, show what I got to offer. So super excited for myself and the team as a whole. A lot of excitement surrounding the organization. So ready to get after it. But yeah, I'm still, working on my goals for sure. It's been kind of a whirlwind, of transitions throughout the past 6 months or so. So I'm still working on that. But team wise, I mean, definitely want to make the playoffs for sure. Definitely want to get into February. I think that would be awesome. And then personally, I want to go get the rookie of the year. So I got those two big ones. I gotta, work out the little, numbers of the receptions and touchdowns and yards and those aspects of things. But those are my two, big individual and team goals right now.
Awesome, awesome. And how have you bonded with obviously Caleb? That's what everyone wants to know. But Caleb, and then also just the other rookies. What kind of class do you guys have in terms of like
Oh,
quality and all that?
yeah, no, it's an awesome class. I think we all, are providing our input and providing, a lot of hard work into the organization. So, you can tell the rookie class is hungry, and that's just a reflection of how the locker room is as well, and the organization as a whole. So, and definitely, been bonding with Caleb. He's a great dude who, is super locked in, super focused on, making this the best, organization in the NFL through all the means that he can, support that. So being able to, come in with him and all the rest of the rookies, like it's definitely an awesome bonding experience for us all, getting to be on this platform, all starting it together. So we're all super, close knit, super tight, and excited to see those boys get back to it.
Awesome, man. Well, Rome, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming back on again. We will do it again, no doubt. But man, I'm pumped up to see what the future brings. You have an incredible family, incredible hunger, great head on your shoulders, man. So I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, go Bears.
Yeah, go Bears.